before coming this morning, there were 2 or 3 things that one noticed. One was, of course, one of the better newspapers this morning called The Hindu, which carried about a news item as its first lead on the cop who was lynched in Kashmir, which was a heinous incident. But there was not a parallel headline or a small single column on the front page that talked about the 4 boys who were attacked in a train going from Delhi to Ballabgarh. It wasn't there as a front page story at all. The second thing is that we got, of course, I think Siddharth's already referred to it, the night before, which Times Now took this whole position on a faked 7-year-old photoshopped image to say how the majority community was being radicalized and how this was happening. And Prateek Sinha actually in Alt News has put this together. But I just want to quote what supposedly an anchor representing one of the biggest newspapers and television channels and media houses with amazing ad revenue actually was saying, and I'm quoting from that, is that I can't even begin to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the kind of insidious fine print that is on this rate card to convert Hindus, caste Brahmins. You have to pay 5 lakhs. You get paid 5 lakhs, ladies and gentlemen. A Hindu Brahmin girl, 5 lakhs. 7 lakh rupees for a Sikh Punjabi girl, for a Gujarati Brahmin, and so on and so forth. Hindu Kshatriya girl, 4.5 lakhs. Hindu this, that, the other, Buddhist girl, 1.5 lakh. And the caliphate has put a price on your faith. Complete lies. Journalists are not here. We are not here to propagate for governments. We are not here to propagate for corporates. We are not here to speak about the rich and powerful. Journalism has never been about that. It isn't about that. We are here only to talk about the poor, to communicate what the masses. We are here to talk about the underdog. We are here to talk about the constitution. We are here to talk about the law. And when all this is disregarded and all the pressure that is coming on individual journalists, on organization and others who are still battling and who are still taking positions to, the whole thing is to bring you down and to bring you under and to make sure that you're not able to raise a voice against what is happening. It is very easy to say that it is TRP ratings. I think we've gone many, many steps beyond TRP ratings. The kind of Islamophobia that is being encouraged, the kind day in and day out by some of the television mainstream channels with big money, shows much more than that. It could be, of course, fear, but it is also corporate interests. But there seems to be something far more sinister going on in this propaganda that was not visible earlier, when also the media has been very pro-establishment. We've come such a long way. I just want to give an example of, say, 1984, when the Sikh violence was taking place, and hundreds and thousands of Sikhs were butchered in Delhi. We covered that day and night. We were out in the field. It was one of the most horrific incidents. And I remember that there was a rumor at that time. This is not something that we are used to. All the decade of violence from 1980 to 1992, which some of us were there to cover, was a decade of violence, of the most horrific violence. You had Assam, Nelly, you had, of course, the Sikh violence, you had Meerut, Malyana, you had the Kashmir insurgency. It was absolutely very, very vicious. But there was a rumor that all the trains that are coming from Pakistan are carrying dead bodies of Hindus. And because of that, mobs went on the outskirts and they started stopping the trains on the basis of that rumor that was spread through the city like wildfire. And the trains pulling out the Sikhs, killing them and putting them back in again. I went to me and the photographer and all, we went to the railway station to report on this. thinking that this was probably what was happening. And we counted 200 bodies of Sikhs, not a single of non-Sikhs, because that had never happened. No Hindu had been killed. This was a rumor to generate a revenge, a sort of a revenge mentality. Why I'm repeating this is because when we came back, we wanted from Delhi a headline saying so many Sikhs killed. Because we said that if you say 200 killed, it'll again feed into the rumor. That is the time where we did not refer even, ethical journalism did not describe communities. Ethical journalism did not even predict violence. We were told at that time also by our editors, when we went into the field, you talk about the violence that has happened. Don't try and tell the reader that there is violence going to happen tomorrow, because you will then be part of instigating something which might not happen, which should be doused. And there was about a 2 or 3 hour debate, after which for the first time the Telegraph carried to a banner headline saying 206, because you had to end the rumor. The point here is that we have gone to a point now. We've been taken steadily. It's not something that has not been happening to journalists. Journalists have been singled out. Journalists have been attacked. Journalists have been beaten. Journalists have been taken into jail. Just now, the Congress government in Karnataka has just jailed 2 journalists for some breach of privilege a while ago. So dissent is something that all governments with authoritarian tendencies, varying authoritarian tendencies, have always attacked. The difference today is that that attack has become any number of times worse, more intense, and is linked, because we are also there reporting what's happening on the field. So it is linked really to what is the larger communal social environment. So as a journalist, when you go out to cover, now having a label of a journalist is not enough for you to be protected, as our Kashmiri journalist from Caravan unfortunately realized. He was not necessarily attacked for being just a journalist, he was also attacked for what his identity was, because that's the kind of attack that took place on him verbally and physically. And we have to speak out, we have to shed fear if there is any fear. We have to realize that the strength comes from what we represent and who we speak for. And it does not come from sucking up to managements and trying for positions or silencing ourselves or trembling with fear. This is something, is the way forward. Today it is very individual journalists. Tomorrow it will be organizations. And will also be those organizations which are maybe at the moment not like the Republic, before they reach the Republic. So whatever is becoming, Times Now till yesterday was most extreme organization in media, today is the Republic, and some people now say that the Times is not that rabid.